boys and girls and boys and boys and girls. Alrighty. Here we go. Our third chapter review. Here we are. I would recommend you use this video. There are a lot of words in a lot of the problems, most of the problems. Okay, but if you study this, you will be well prepared for the test. A survey shows that about 9/25 of the families in a small town do not have residential phone service. Aww. Write this as a decimal. So we really didn't need the first sentence, did we? Nope. We just needed to find 9/25. Now you can do that without a calculator by multiplying times 4, right? That way we have it over 100, right? 36 over 100. Writing as a decimal is 0.36. You really don't have to write a 0, but a lot of people do that. Or you could use a calculator and divide 9 divided by 25. Any questions? You got that, right? Easy cheesy. Yeah. Write -7/9 as a decimal. Okay, just like we would divide 9 divided by 25 or 36 divided by 100, right? We do 7 divided by 9, but you already know the 9's trick, right? Or the 9's secret, super secret. So what is it? What's the decimal? Go ahead. Right, so what's the answer for this? Exactly, very good. And so you could write a 0.07 if you really wanted to, but that's not required. Any questions? Right, so you could do the division if you really wanted to prove it to yourself, right? We'd say 7 times 9 is 63, etc., etc., etc. But we don't need to do that because we know that. All right, identify all sets of numbers. Okay, our choices are real. What else? Natural. What was the next one we had? Whole. Integer. Irrational. Right. You're just so smart. Rational and irrational. All right, so I'm going to highlight the ones that this belongs to. Is it real? Yes. Definitely. Because all the numbers we're learning are real. Natural, do we count with that number? No, because it's between 2 and 3. Okay? Whole, no. Integer. Nope. No, because integer, it's the same as natural and whole, it just has the negative of those. So between 2 and 3 is not an integer. Can we write this as a fraction? Yes. Yes, so 55 over 100, right? So, I mean, you would have 255 over 100. Anyway, so rational. That's it, huh? Yeah. Yep, only 2, real and rational. Wait. It's not irrational because we can write it as a fraction. Excuse me? It's not an integer because integers, like I said, are only, it's the same as natural and whole. You just add the negatives of those. The negative counting numbers. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, right? But nothing in between, no fractions or decimals. Thank you for asking that because there's probably other people that were not sure, but you spoke up. Thank you. It's the truth. All right, here we go. Number 4. Replace this with greater than or less than. Now, this is the thing that I made you redo your work for, right? A lot of people just left a problem like this, and I said, no, you can't really compare a fraction to a decimal. Well, so what would you change 2/9 to? 0.2 repeating, so we have a bunch of 2's, right? And comparing to 0.2. So what's bigger, 22 or 2? 22 is bigger, right? And we have the bigger part of the sign, right? The open part. So our answer is that. How do you say that? Greater than, less than, equal to what?
0.
You say greater than. Very good. If you guys can remember people, I know you're writing, but if you want to remember people participating, that would be fantastic. All right. 1 gallon of water is equal to 8.34 pounds. Write this value as a mixed number in simplest form. say something wrong? Oh, you're right. Thank you. I can use the magic lasso. And I can shrink this. Meow. There we go. Thank you, sir. Okay, good enough. Okay, number 5. Oops, I didn't mean to paste that. Okay. 1 gallon of water is equal to 8.34. So we don't even know, we need to know about the gallon. All we need to do is write that number as a mixed number in simplest form. Who wants to do that? Whoa! You have a code name, young lady? You forget? Gotta be appropriate. Pick one. How about student number 1? You're student number 1. Go ahead. We're doing this number, the number, right, as a mixed number in simplest form.
Okay, so it would be, so the first thing I did, I put 34 over 100, and then I divided it in half, so that would be 17 over 50, and you can't simplify it further, so it would be 8 or 17 over 50.
Why can't, you're correct. Now, why can't you simplify it further?
Because 17 is a prime number.
Now, that is an excellent answer. Very good. Okay, good. So you're pretty much almost done. Now you just need to add the 8. Yeah, you already said that, but I was. Yeah. Excellent. 8 and 7 50ths. Ready? Number 6. Yes, sir. Do you have a code name? An appropriate one? All right. So student number 2. Lewis typically eats 4 1/4 ounces of fresh fruit. Okay, today triple. Ooh, what operation is that? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
Multiply.
He's right, multiply. So 4 1/4 times?
3.
Times 3. So help us do it, young man.
So I would do 4 times 3.
Okay, so he's doing it separately, which actually is a good idea. I like that. I think that's easier. So 4 times 3 is? 12.
And then would be 3/4.
Yeah, 3 times, right? Because 1/4 times 3 over 1. Let me write that out for people that can't do it in their head. Times 3 over 1 equals 3/4. So 12 and 3/4. Now you could turn it into an improper fraction, but it's a lot more work in my opinion. 17/4, then you times it by 3, then you reduce. It's easier just to do 12 and 3/4. Yes, sir? You want to do the next one? 0.75? Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Now we should label it, right? Of course we should. So that is what? Ounces. So I'm going to go OZ. Okay. Find the area and perimeter of a rectangle with a length of, can't read that. 8 feet. And a width of this. Write each answer as a fraction. Ooh, 2 questions in 1. Go ahead, sir.
I am German potato and.
German potato.
And so I'm gonna do area first. And
yeah.
I did 8 times 6 and 2 nines, and I made 6 and 2 nines to 56 over 9s, and then multiply 56 over 9.
Mm-hmm. Times 8.
By 8.
Okay, excellent. Now that's awesome, but sometimes, hold on, don't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes good mathematicians are lazy, meaning they find good shortcuts, right? So I'm going to do it the way student number 2 did it, and I'm going to just do 8 times 6 first, right? Which is what?
48.
48. Okay. 8 times 6 is 48, and then 8 times 2, 16 nines. And now I don't have to deal with those huge numbers. I mean, it's easier for me, but your way totally works. Okay, so 16 over 9s, I need to change that because I have more than 9 nines, right? So I got 7 nines extra, so 49 and 7 nines. Good. So that is the area, right? So area equals, and that is, now, don't forget, feet squared. I don't want to have to take off half credit because you didn't put feet squared, right? Square feet, because it's area. Should I put a highlight on that? Highlight! Okay, that's area. Yes?
I got
49.7 repeating would be it. Okay. Do you want to do the other one, or should somebody else?
Sure, I can do the next one.
Okay.
But we also have to do the
No,
decimal.
I mean the perimeter.
Yeah, but we have to do the decimal for the area also.
Oh, as a fraction and
Now,
a
and
decimal.
making that the whole number would be 49 as the whole number, and then since 7 nines, it will go on forever. So you do 0.7 and then a line over it because it's gonna repeat forever.
Excellent job. Okay, perimeter.
And then for perimeter, I did 8 times 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then 6 and 2 nines times 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then added those together.
Right.
And
So
yeah,
16 plus, I'm going to do this in my head because it's pretty easy. 12 and
4 nines.
4, that's good. And then we need to add those together. Do I need to explain why we're adding these?
No.
You guys got it? Okay, thank you.
And then you get
Very
28 and 4
intelligent
nines.
class. Okay, 28 and 4 ninths. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So the perimeter, I'll just put P because my marker is too big here. So 28 and 4 ninths
Yes.
is the perimeter, feet, and we don't put squared because it's not an area. And then let me move this down, or maybe I'll shrink it. Shrink. Okay, I'll shrink this too. Perimeter, and then the other way you write the number is 28.
0.4 was the line above.
8.4 repeating. Good. So that's a lot of answers. Maybe I'll give 4 points to that problem. At least 2 points to this problem on the test. Okay, yes, sir?
Can I do the next one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on the problem so far? Yes.
For the decimal first,
Mm-hmm. If you did it with improper fractions, then yes. And that's fine. But if you didn't do improper fractions, you did it with the mixed numbers, then you don't need to have that huge numerator. Yes? Question? Yeah. Bells and ring crazy. Bells and ring crazy. 3 minutes. Yes.
Okay.
Number 8.
So, what I did first is I actually converted these into decimals.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I got 8 and got 100, divided it by 8, and then I got
100 divided by 8.
sorry, yeah, which equals 12.5.
Wait, where did you get 100 divided by 8? What are you talking about? Number 8?
Yeah.
But there's no 100 in
So
there.
if I turn it into a decimal first.
7/8?
Yeah.
But 7/8 is not.
I can't turn it into a decimal.
Yeah, but I don't know why you would use 100 divided by 8. How do you turn 7/8 into a decimal? The easiest way is 7 divided by 8. I think you're doing a complicated way.
Well, yeah, but like,
Except somebody's. Alright, so the easiest way to change 7/8 to a decimal is just to divide it, right? 7 divided by 8. Right? So 0.875, which you could do with long division if you really wanted to. So you've got 1.875 if you wanted to turn it into a decimal, right? Okay, so today she reduced this time by half. Okay, so how would you do that?
so I did my way that I did. I still got the same answer that you got, but then after I did that, I divided it by 2.
Okay, so divide by 2. Did you do it on a calculator?
No, I did it by hand.
Okay, so divided by 2, your answer was?
0.9375.
0.9375. You said what's what's up, gamers? Anyway, hey gamers. All right, so we finished this. Now, what they're asking for in this problem, what? Oh, it's blocking the screen. Oh, you know what? Can you go to another seat? Because I just discovered that this is like a great. I just discovered. Thank you so much for being so flexible and helpful. Okay, but now my screen isn't doing what it's supposed to. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Who did that?
It's okay. So, the question was asking us to tap dance. To see how long Cassandra tap dances for. Because she danced for what? Starts with an H. Half of the normal time. So 1 7/8, and she did half of that. So if you change it, the first student that did this said they changed it to a decimal. If you do 7 divided by 8, you get 0.875, which I did here on the calculator. There it is, right? Yep. Or you could do it longhand, whatever. And then he divided that by 2. Whoa. And then he divided that by 2. Okay, that is really weird. Why is it not? There we go. All right. Then he divided that by 2, and he got a decimal answer, which is okay, but I want you to be able to use fractions too. So let's see. 1 7/8. We need to make that half. Well, we could do it. There's more on my desk next to the computer. Actually, you can put that one over there. Thank you. So in order to do half of that, I would turn this to improper. So 1 times 8. Good job. 15/8 times 1/2, right? Can we cross cancel anything? No. So 15 over 16. 15 over 16. So 15 over 16 should be 0.9375. Let's try it. 15 over 16 equals, yep, it sure does. Okay, what? No. No, I would have accepted either for this one. But if it says to multiply 2 fractions together, then I want to see your work, because we're testing you on to be able to multiply 2 fractions together. Means, product means to multiply. It's not add, it's multiply. Now, if it was addition subtraction, I could do it separately from the whole numbers and not have to change it to improper. But I think it's a lot easier if you turn this into improper fractions. So 3 times 2 is 6, right? Plus 1, right, is 7 halves. All right. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 5 is 35 sixths. There we go. Now, we are multiplying this. Can we cross cancel? No, we can't actually, so this is going to be a huge little fraction for us. Okay, so let's see, 7 times 35, I don't feel like doing that. I could, but I don't feel like it. 7 times 35, 245 over 12. All right, so let's divide that too. I don't feel like doing that either. 245 divided by 12 is 20 point something. So that means our whole number is 20. How many do we have left? Well, in order to do that, we do 20 times 12, which is 240. We have 5 left. Oh, wait, we have to put it in simplest form.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. It is already. It is already. Oh, but you know what? This was supposed to go for number 9. Yeah, because these problems, I have this big, huge marker, basically, that I'm writing on the paper, so that's why they kind of went in the wrong place. I mean, if you really want me to, I can do my magic lasso. I missed my decimal. The magic lasso. Thank you. See, and there were a whole bunch of different parts to this problem. So, enough of that. Enough of that. All right, moving on to the next page. Yes? Oh, yes, it is negative. Why did I forget to put the negative? Don't forget to put the negative, students. Negative 20 and 5/12. Or I have to take half off. Thank you, Theon. I appreciate that. There it is, negative. Very important. Okay, what is the value of this expression? Well, we have to use fractions. So, 1 times s. 1 times s, so that's 4/5 in the numerator. All right, 20 times r is 20 times negative 1/4. We could do that separately over here. 20 times 1/4. Can we cross cancel? Yes, we can. Divide by 4, right? We get 5 over 1, so that's 5 over 1. Now that was 20 times negative 1/4. Positive times a negative is a negative. So down here we have negative 5. Excuse me? A weird name? Okay. So there was also a negative in front of this. So there's a lot of elements here in this problem. A lot of negatives to keep track of. Now I'm going through it quickly, but that's why you can look at the YouTube, slow it down, pause it, all that fun stuff. 4/5 divided by 5. When you divide by a number, we end up doing what?
Reciprocal.
Yeah, multiplying times reciprocal. Let me move this over. So what's the reciprocal of negative 5? 1 over 5. So 4/5 times negative, and the whole thing was negative, all right? Negative 1/5. Can we cross cancel? No, we can't. So we have positive times a negative is a negative. So 4 over 25, which is a negative. But this whole thing, the whole fraction was negative. So what do we do to double signs? Yeah, a negative of a negative is a positive. It's Dorito Man. So let me write this a little neater. Okay. So those two cancel out. The answer is positive 4/25. Let me shrink all this down so it can kind of go on the screen. So Anne's final answer, positive 4 over 25. That's a tough one. I had fun though doing it. That's because I'm a math teacher. All right, ready for number 11? Does anyone have any quick questions about it? Yeah. No? Yes? This one? That's a 25. I just shrunk it. Because it was so watch. Hey, it's a 5. Now it's nothing. You're nothing. Excuse me? Alright, number 11. 4 pieces of wood. Each one is this amount. Are required for building a frame. If all 4 pieces are cut from one board, how long should the board be? Okay, what operation? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. He says multiplication. Do we agree?
Yeah.
I agree too. Okay, because we've got 4 of them. So 14 and 5/6 times 4. Now, if this was 2 mixed numbers, that's why on the other page when we had 2 mixed numbers, I changed them both to improper because it gets to be a whole lot of work. But if only one of them is a mixed number, we don't have to change them to improper. We can do 4 times this and 4 times this. And that's a lot easier. So 4 times 14 is 40 plus 16. So 56. And 4 times 5 is 20. Now we just have to add that in, right? So 26 becomes 3 and 2/6, right? So add 3 to 56, 59 and 2/6, which again is 1/3. So if I went too fast again, you can go slowly in YouTube. Yes. All right. What is the sum? Can I move on? Yes. Oh, you are right. You are right. To the nearest whole. So that means that this would round to 59. Thank you, sir. Thank you for seeing that. That's right. All right. 59. Yes, Leon. Did I do something else wrong? No, because we round only if it's, remember, 5 or above, point a half or above, 0.5 or above. This is 0.33333, so it's below a half. So no, it rounds down. All right, number 12. Oh, I removed 13. Okay, I removed 13. I didn't like that problem. I should have deleted it before. Yeah. You should redact it, which is what the government does. They just, you never knew that? Redact means when you have a document and they take a black marker and they go, and then you can't read the part that they redacted. Okay, number 12. What is the sum of a fraction and its additive inverse? Okay. Now, when you did your home, do you know this one?
No, I'm talking about 11.
What?
It said to round it to the nearest whole foot.
Right, so that's what I did. From 59 1/3 to, whole foot, but that's inches. Is that what you were talking about? Whole foot. Wait. Yeah, you're right. So whole foot. So what's the whole foot?
12. Divided by 12.
Divided by 12 is 60. Right. 5 feet is 60 inches. So you are totally right. Whole foot, not whole inch. Is that what you meant? You said you think? Okay. So, not nearest whole inch, nearest whole foot. That's a little tricky, my trickster. So, it's 5 feet. Because it's definitely closer to 5 feet than 4 feet. What? Which is 60 inches. Okay, so we're going to change this problem to the product, right, of a fraction and its multiplicative inverse. Okay, there we go. That's better, isn't it?
Yes.
What is the product of a fraction and its multiplicative inverse? So, somebody give me a fraction.
7/6.
Let's do -7/6. Ooh. Now, what is the multiplicative inverse of -7/6? Negative, it stays the same sign, 6/7. Okay? Now, when you multiply a negative times a negative, the answer is a positive, and it would be 42/42, which is, of course, 1. So the answer is just, yes, it's the same thing as the reciprocal. So we just wrote down an example, didn't we? Yes. So we wrote down an example and we said the answer is always positive 1. Get it? Juliana bought a container of licorice. She gave 2/5 of the licorice to a friend, 2/10 to her sister, and she kept the rest for herself. What fraction did she keep for herself? All right, so 2/5 to her friend, 2/10 to her sister. She needs to add those together, right? So in order to add them, we need a common denominator. So 2/5, we need to change that to tenths, right? 2/5 times 2/2. So it's 4/10. Plus the 2/10 is 6/10. What fraction of the licorice did she keep? Well, the rest of it. So what's left over? 4/10. Now we don't want to write it as 4/10 though because we need to reduce it. So let me shrink this up a little bit. So 4/10 is what was left over. We reduce it to 2 5/6. Thank you. Number 15. The sum of. All right, now since they're both mixed numbers and we're adding, subtracting, it's easier to do the whole numbers separate. What's 7 minus 3?
4.
Is 4. So we can do our 7 minus 3 separate. Now we've got 2/3 minus 5/6. Okay, let's turn it into the same denominator. 2/3 times 2/2. 4/6. Uh-oh. 4/6 minus 5/6. We got a problem here.
Don't you have to borrow from the...
We need to borrow, exactly. We need to borrow. So we need to borrow. So let's take out this no. So let's, you know what? I'm changing my mind on this one. Since we had to borrow, I think it's better to do it vertically. So let's go like this. Let's do 7 and we'll change it to 4/6 minus 3 and 5/6. And like you said, we need to borrow, so we need to get 6. And how many 6 does that give us?
6.
We're adding 6 to it, so that means 10/6. So now we can do it. 10 minus 5? 5/6. 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 and 5/6. Is that our final answer? Yep, I think so. Good guys won, by the way, right? Because 7 and 2/3 was bigger. Yes? How many sixths is a whole? 6. So that's why. Good question. See, other people probably weren't asking that. Excellent question. All right, let's move up here. All right, what value of this, what is the value of this if, okay, so now we need to evaluate again. So 3 times x. 3 times what? Negative 2 nines. 3/1 times negative 2/9. Can we cross cancel?
Yep.
Yep. Divide by 3, right? Okay, so negative 2/3. Okay, that's the first part. Oh, my other problem's getting in the way. How about I just delete it? Get out of here, you problem. All right, it's gone. Okay, negative 12 times, now I wouldn't think about that as a minus. Negative 12, oh, let me put it over 1. Whoops. Negative 12 over 1 times what? Yeah, 4 and 1/6. Yeah, let's make it a, I agree. Let's make it a an improper, which is 25/6. Can we cross cancel? Yes, we can. So we divide by 6. We get negative 2/1. So negative 50/1. Okay, now what operation is in between those two? So right here, is it multiply, divide, or add, subtract? It's add, subtract. So we have a negative and a negative. That means we're not multiplying them. We're adding, subtracting. So we don't have a common denominator. Oh, man. Well, you know what, though? This is a whole number, and we can just add them together. 50 and 2/3. Right? Bad guys score 50. Bad guys score 2/3 of a point, which is just weird. But we're going to pretend like it happened. So the final answer is negative 50 and 2/3. And now you're so comfortable with your good guys, bad guys, you're like, oh, I get it. When we have 2 bad guys' points, then we just add them together. Oh. Right? Charlie's making a croissant. Good for him. Let's shrink this. Okay. His recipe is this much butter. He has this much butter. Okay. A method for determining the number of batches that he can make. What do you say? How do you figure out how many batches he can make? Because he has 12 and a half. Yeah, you could divide 12 and a half divided by 2 and 3/4. What else could you do? You could just start testing, multiplying, right? 2 and 3/4 times, I don't know, 5. 2 and 3/4 times 4. 2 and 3/4 times 6. That's testing. Guess and check. That's one of those. It should be one. Trial and error. It's back there right above the Trailblazer social contract on the left. Or there's another way. Yes? Yeah, we said divide. But we could add. We could go 2 3/4. Add another one. 2 and 3/4. Add another one. 2 and 3/4. Add another one. 2 and 3/4. Because it's not really that high, right? So we might only need to add 5 times or something. Okay? Thank you, sir. Okay, if Charlie plans to make 5 batches, use what you know about operating these fractions to predict the amount of butter. Well, that means you add, subtract, multiply, or divide. It takes 2 and 3/4 for each croissant. We need to make 5 for each batch, excuse me. He needs to make 5 batches. How much does he need? 5 times 2 and 3/4. All right, I don't have to do the math for you. That's it. Let's say bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube.